Hi guys, get ready with me today as I finally share the part 2 of the story about the time that something tried to enter my body. If you have not seen that, I would watch that first because this is part 2. And get ready with me. First, just starting of course with Lumify drops. As always, they just make your eyes so white. I do use this every single day. A couple months after, I'm minding my business. It's like 5 p.m. regular day, and I'm just like sitting at my desk right exactly here, and I'm looking out the window and I see it. It's literally bright as day. There it is, just standing there, just literally just standing there, just, and it was like, it knew that I would see it. It was kind of creepy though, because now I just got like a vision sort of thing where it was like walking from behind the bushes, and it just knew the exact time I was gonna see it. I don't know. These things, they're, they know what they're doing, that's for sure. Here we go. It's standing in front of my house, and it's like, what do you want? And I just looked at it and I said, well, you're not allowed inside. And it didn't come inside. But I was curious at this time about these energies in general, like negative energies or the demons, not because I had any intention of working with them and like going to the dark side all of a sudden. I very much so live on the side of light, but I am just curious about everything. I'm curious about dark energies, light energy, spirit, everything in the world. Like that's how I am. I want to know. That doesn't mean that I want anything to do with it. You know what I'm saying? Just because you watch murder mysteries, it's not because you want that to happen to you. You're just curious. You're curious about the psychology of why even people do that, right? That's usually why we watch it. I'm just like here, like curious about, I guess, the psychology of these entities. Like why, what really is your purpose? What is outside of the purpose that you have to inflict fear onto people? You never know fully something truly, right? Especially when it comes to the unseen world, the spiritual realm. You really don't know everything, no matter how long you've been doing this work for. Even though I've been doing this work for a while, I'm just always curious. After that night that thing literally tried to like corkscrew itself into me, I was like, well, I'm kind of down this rabbit hole. I was watching even just a lot of YouTube videos of people going into haunted places and just to learn, just to see. The biggest reason why it came to me, and there's many more, and I'm going to tell you guys all of them, but my curiosity alone is what sort of opened up that door for it to come back. Because when it was corkscrewing itself into me, that was like, I want nothing to do with this divine. I want nothing to do with this entity. Make sure it leaves. I don't want it attached to me. I want nothing to do with it ever again. It can't come back. And it didn't for a while. Not until I sort of reopened the door by my curiosity alone. I didn't really think that curiosity would attract those things, to be completely honest, because even before I learned this, I would watch scary movies. I actually like scary movies because at the end, God always wins. Light always wins. Even if it's in the last like 3 minutes, the light always wins. I don't know, scary movies I used to be terrified of, but definitely not anymore, and not at the time when I was watching them more frequently. But I never thought, because I watched those movies enough, and because a lot of people are like, well, if you just watch that stuff, you're also inviting it in. Well, no, nothing ever happened to me. That's just me, like maybe for some people, but no, nothing happened to me ever watching this stuff. Noted, I was watching a lot of videos and I was reading a lot, and I was like looking up all these places, like on YouTube, ghost story, the time we went to the asylum, like this entity specifically knew my curiosity. It knew that I was interested in it, or in that realm of things. There really is a hierarchy. That's something I've definitely learned in even just dark energies, light energies, angels. Like there's a hierarchy. Some negative energies are more neutral but leaning to the side of negative. Some entities, they just want to attach onto you, and they kind of prefer that you're not there, and all they want to do is just feed. There's some entities that want to get famous. Literally, some entities actually want to get famous. Stories where literally the whole family's like levitating, the craziest stuff is happening. Sometimes entities do that because they know that they are going to get famous. Even think about it. Look at The Conjuring. That is one of the most sought after places, the Conjuring house, sought after places to go ghost hunting. Literally, there is a wait list to go ghost hunting there. Or Paranormal Investigation. It knows how to get that fame because people who are living in that house, people who come visit the house, are always going to have some kind of paranormal experience. Something, a lot of people go to these places to have something cool happen, whether you're a skeptic or whether you're a believer. Like, a lot of people, they just want to see what this whole realm is about, right? These entities, they're smart. They know that. Some are smarter than others. They know exactly what they're doing. Some of them are intelligent, but the entity that literally tried to corkscrew it back onto me I think that it knew, like I'm even here now, I think that it knew that later it would have another chance to try to get back, right? So they are intelligent, but not in a way that you necessarily have to be afraid of, because again, nothing is stronger than light. I would say most of the time, the realest thing about scary movies is that the light always wins at the end. Even if it's the last 5 minutes, suddenly this priest comes in and it's this whole dramatic situation. So you don't have to be afraid of them knowing or or the fact that they are intelligent, right? Because the light really does always win. But anyways, I'm just like curious, right? How do they read your mind? How do they know that they can become famous? How do they see people's traumas in their energy? How do they know your weaknesses, know your insecurities? How do they know what to prey on? All questions I was curious about. And also things I have answers. Some answers to. I'm not saying all, but some answers. If you guys do want to know that stuff, please just like and subscribe so I know that you guys want to see it. But yeah, anyways, back to the story. Okay, so then after that night though, there was a lot. I really did get over the fear of these energies, because there was even one day that I was walking through the cemetery. Sometimes I do like to do that just because I live near a very, very nice cemetery. It's actually pretty beautiful. And I find that the energy there is actually pretty peaceful, and it's nice to see it's overlooking the city. It's really, really nice. There's some areas I don't really go into because there's things lurking, but there's other areas that are great. A lot of cemeteries are peaceful in my personal opinion. A lot of people buried there are okay with their passing. They're at peace. So they're just it's like peace. I'm just walking. I'm minding my own business, and suddenly I just like feel these two hands grab me from behind on the back of my shoulders. And I said, "Girl," I said, "I am not afraid of this. This was not going to be the same kind of situation as last time." I really stayed in my power. I turned around and I said, "Get the F off." I said, "Do not touch me. You are not welcome to come home." But like genuinely no fear inside. No fear inside. I'm really grateful for that whole crazy corkscrewing night, because I really feel not afraid of those energies anymore. I'm not. If that was me 4 years ago and I felt something grab my shoulders, I probably would have ran so fast and probably I wouldn't come back to that cemetery for a long time. If honestly, if ever, but not scared at this point. So that was good. And that's important for this story, because the entity knew that I was not afraid of it anymore. It's smart. It knows with me, you can't be like evil. You can't be acting evil, because then it's not going to get what it wanted from me. If it's acting like, "Hey, I want to like come ruin your life and I want to pull you away from God," it knew that I was going to be like, "No," right? So it knew that it could not inflict fear. It could not try to scare me, because I'd be like, "All right, well, I want nothing to do with you." It was trying to find a different way in that was different from asking me, "Hey, do you want these powers?" The energy I got from it was like, "Do you want me to help make you famous? Do you want me to help you make a lot of money? You know what I mean? Like things like that. Temptation. Obviously, I didn't say yes, but again, because I'm like curious about these energies. The biggest thing that I was curious about when I saw it was I was like, I wonder, is it true that they become servient? And because you have overcome your fear, which is one of their purposes to inflict fear, you really just don't know what you don't know. I kind of was like, did I just like unlock a new level? Did I reach a certain level of respect from these things or whatever? I didn't really know because it wasn't coming to me with this negative energy. But yes, I know it was a trickster, but still, like the thought just crossed my mind. Of course, just to let you guys know, I definitely did not ask it for anything. I took my time because I just wanted to know. I wanted to meditate. I wanted to ask the divine what the divine thought about the situation. What the divine said to me essentially was this. In meditation, I'm like in my bed, I'm laying down, and I was like, what is its intention? And I saw, so its projection came to my room, not the actual entity. It was not allowed, but the divine projected into my room. It's not its self, but I guess it's spiritual projection. And I got closer to it. Weird, this is gonna sound weird, but so that I could smell it. And I know that sounds weird, but that was symbolism for me. The message was, the closer you get, you're not gonna like what you see, because it smelled bad. It just did. Like, I don't know, it just reeked. But that was spirit's way of being like, you're just not gonna like what you see. If you ask it for something, you're not gonna like the consequences, right? This is the thing with negative energies. If you ask them for something, you just don't know what the consequences are. We see this a lot in Hollywood, and I'm not saying this is always the case, but black magic is definitely something that's not off the table. That's why sometimes you'll see people who are like, all of a sudden they're like, someone new pops up in Hollywood and they're famous, and you have no idea where they came from, but like they're extremely famous from what. It's not like you were on Wizards of Waverly Place, you know what I'm saying? Stuff like that. And I'm not saying it's always the case where they've done some kind of black magic, but I'm also not taking it off the table. When you do allow these entities to do something for you, you just don't know the price you're gonna pay. You can make a deal, like you can ask them for stuff. You can be like, I want to make a lot of money, or like, I want to be famous. Can you please help me to do that? It's not hard to summon these things. Like, honestly, they want to be summoned. Like, they like to help. You know what I'm saying? But for an exchange. I was very aware of this being a possibility before I responded to it. You don't know what it's gonna come and collect, right? And I guess it was just confirmed that no, you don't really, like, you don't get to this new level. Hey, but like, you live and you learn, right? And so now I know that you don't get to this new level and they become servient to you. Absolutely not. But hey, now I know from my own self. What was also crazy is that I didn't know this at the time either. But when I first was building a relationship with archangels, I would literally like ask them to help me, to build trust with them, to build a relationship with them. Literally, for example, I'd be like, Archangel Michael, this week, can you help me get to school on time? Or like, can you make sure there's like a parking spot there for me when I arrive? This is just like small things, small signs that symbolize, or like that they show you that they can actually help you, so that you can trust them, so that you can work with them, right? It knew, right? Because it asked me, is there something I can do for you? It knew that I asked the archangels that. It was like, again, trying to trick me, trying to be like, I know that you've done this. It wanted me to think that I could trust it, because it was going to do what I asked it to, if I asked it anything, but I didn't. The lesson is, you can still be curious. I don't want you guys to watch this video and be like, I can't be curious about these energies, because everyone is. I think it's not inevitable, especially if you do spiritual work, that these things are just going to come to you. Sometimes they just do. The more you open up spiritually in the spiritual realm, the more different things are just going to come to you. And it's just a part of the journey. It's a part of the work. It happens. It makes us stronger. It makes us better. It makes us more resilient. It helps us to understand our channel, what we can and can't do. I'm not going to tell you guys that there's 100% a way to get rid of these things ever coming to you. I think what's changed for me is the curiosity that I have. I just directly ask the divine. I don't think that I was doing that at the time. I was just watching YouTube videos, I was reading, I was like doing all these things, just researching, exploring, and because I'd never really delved into the realm of the negatives. I think because I wasn't asking the divine and I was just like passively watching, curious and interested, this entity I opened up a door for it. You know what I mean? I'm still gonna watch scary movies. I still watch the YouTube videos, like, but now I just, if I have a question, I directly ask the divine. I'm not just passively watching and asking the abyss. You know what I mean? Now my intention is ask the divine. That's something I've learned. And I've continued watching that stuff. Nothing has came back. That thing has not come back at all. That's the story, you guys. Because my fear was gone, it was also trying to find another way in. So it was trying to make me feel like it was going to be helpful. And it did help. It actually did give off that energy of helpful. But then when I got closer to it, during that projection, during my meditation, I was like, oh no, you do not smell good. I wasn't going to ask it anyways until I had like triple proofed it with spirit, but you just never know. That's another recommendation I would. Even if I'm telling you guys this and you have a relationship with spirit, or like you have a stronger relationship with your spirit guides or whatever, ask them as well. It's just, I always do that. It's just good to, even though there's a lot of spiritual workers out there and people that I really do trust and I will listen to, I still always ask the divine in case, because if you're watching stuff online, you don't know if they're calling upon the divine. You don't know what or who is speaking through them. And there's a lot of spiritual people out there that the divine is speaking through them and they are connected to something of love and of God for real. But there's also some people that aren't. You have to use your discernment, and sometimes you might get it wrong, but it's okay. It's okay, because what you're just doing is learning and understanding, and there's just no way to fully avoid this stuff, I think. But your relationship with God can always grow stronger, and I think that's the most important thing, because nothing is stronger than light, than God, unless you allow it to be, right? Thank you guys so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed that story. Like I said, I've got a lot more stories, and not just scary ones. I have stories with angels, I have stories with spirit. I have a lot of scary stories, but some I just can't say because they are clients, and of course that's all confidential, but I have a lot still outside of that. But anyways, to finish this look, Whirl lip liner. I am going on a trip in July, and so today, while I was telling the story, I just wanted to try a different makeup look, because I don't know, I always do this thing where I try a new makeup vibe like the day of the event or what I'm doing, and I just turn out hating it because I haven't done it before. And I'm someone who's like, if I have a specific makeup routine for a while, if I change it on the day, I don't like it, and then I don't feel like it looks good, and so I was just doing nothing crazy. All I literally did today was put on foundation instead, which I do not do. I do really like this one, by the way. It's Elizabeth Arden in Warm Sun Beige. It's giving those Maybelline Mousse ones from like the early thousands, but it's actually stays on your face. It's gives you a natural glow. I really like it when I do use foundation. And I pulled the blush in further, which I also never do. And I don't think I do, but I'm just gonna leave it. I literally pulled it all the way in. I'm gonna leave it and for the day and just see if I like it. And then I put also powdered blush over the liquid to set it. I didn't do anything crazy different, but still. I don't really wear foundation that often anymore. wanted to try it out. But yeah, you guys, thank you again so much for watching, and subscribe and like if you want to know about more ghost stories and spirit stories.